Okay, welcome back to Success Money Marriage Podcast. I'm Steve Siebold.
And I'm Dawn Siebold.
Today's episode, we're going to talk about one of the most powerful financial concepts that you can employ with a business, with any business, and it's called the Rule of 72. Did you learn this in school?
Nope.
Not even college?
Nope. I never heard of the Rule of 72 until we started going to cocktail parties.
Do you remember?
But I didn't know what it was until we wrote the book. But I'd heard of it. I'd heard of it before, but I had no idea what it was.
Do you remember when in college when we took micro and macroeconomics back to back?
Yes, I do.
That was a really bad idea.
It was not only a bad idea.
Don't ever take micro and macro back to back.
But I let you cheat off of me to
I did not cheat. That was a rumor. I never cheated. I didn't get a good enough grade, so yours was bad.
I got a C and you got a D.
Yeah. I didn't do very well.
No, we passed.
We passed.
Was it not?
You did better than I did.
It wasn't good.
It wasn't. That was tough because I kept getting micro was much harder to me.
Right. Me
but
too.
Anyway, point of it is that you take these classes like micro and macro, which are great classes, but accounting, finance, whatever, and they don't teach something so basic that you can teach a 14-year-old kid the Rule of 72, which is probably, arguably as powerful as anything you learn in economics in terms of a small business person or investor.
Well, it's so easy to learn that we're going to show you what it is today. We're going to tell you what it is today, and you'll know it forever. That's how simple it is.
You won't forget it.
You won't forget it. Right.
It's easy.
Right.
It's
super
in the
easy.
book, the How Money Works book written by myself and Tom Matthews. And, we talk about this all the time in our classes with companies. And by the way, if you've got a company or an organization, you work for a company, you want us to come in and we've got 10,000 educators around the country that do these classes, and they're free, and the books are free, and the whole thing. It's a financial literacy campaign.
Great benefit for the employees.
Yeah, it's fantastic because they're never going to probably get it anywhere else. Right. And we've talked about this before. But Rule 72 basically is a mental math shortcut. Mm-hmm. And it's designed to show you how long it takes your money to double. And this is one of the things that rich people do. They want to know how long $1 turns into $2, or 100,000 turns into 200,000, or a million turns into 2 million, and so on and so forth. How long does it take at a given interest rate? Mm-hmm. Okay, or a given rate of return, let's call it, or an interest rate, either way. So you take the number 72 and you divide it by the interest rate. So 72 divided by 1%, let's say, is 72. So it would take 72 years in this case for $1 to turn into $2. All right. So now here's the basic premise we talk about.
So you times it. You forgot that. You times it by the interest rate.
You divide it.
Divide it by the interest rate.
By the interest rate.
Sorry.
By the rate of return or interest rate. Right. Exactly. So the idea is to know that how long it takes your money to double. And wealthy people talk about this concept of doubles all the time.
Right.
And we used to go to these cocktail parties. I'd interview these multimillionaires and billionaires. We've been doing that for 38 years. As crazy as that sounds, 38 years.
I know.
And if you know a billionaire, we probably interviewed him at some point. Certainly lots
and some millionaires that went to billionaires.
Some millionaires, and some billionaires that went to millionaires.
Right, the other way.
And millionaires that went broke.
Right.
And all kinds of, some millionaires and billionaires that went to jail.
Right.
We had a few of those as well.
Yeah, okay.
And some became president.
Okay,
or one,
another
anyway.
topic.
But that's another topic for another show. But yeah, so it was just interesting because people at the press would always, because we've been working with the press for so long, and they'll say, well, what are these super wealthy people? We're not talking about small business millionaires. We're talking about whales. We're talking about some of the richest people in the world. And so what do they talk about at these cocktail parties that we would get invited to just because I was interviewing them, and that's the only reason I wasn't qualified to be there, certainly. And but they talk about things like doubles. And I remember the first time we heard that, we're like, doubles? What do you mean, like a double vodka? Because if you're saying that, I want a double. Yeah, I'll take one.
I'll take a double too.
Lots of ice.
Yeah, I'll take a double too.
You want a double too?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, if everybody's getting a double.
If everyone's getting a double,
I want a double.
Why not?
I wanted, and they were rich and fancy, and so I'm thinking
big thick glasses, those country club glasses, cost like $400.
And there's no mixer. They just take like a double scotch, double vodka. Like they don't ever come up.
Straight.
They don't say, "I'll take a Tiny Tim double," or
billionaires drink it straight.
It seems like it. Seriously,
I swear.
I'm not kidding. It was like no mixers at those parties. I don't know.
No, that's
I don't want a double Bloody Mary.
They're not getting walking around with margarita fruity drinks.
No,
I don't mind doing that,
strawberry daiquiris.
I like strawberry daiquiris.
I know you do.
I can't.
That's probably why we don't get as invited back.
I can't. I'll take the fruity thing. Yeah. I like the little umbrellas they put on the top.
And I drink beer, so every time we go out, they put the beer in front of you and the fruity drink in front of me. That is stereotyping. I just will let you know.
It's also true.
It's also
in our
true.
case.
Yes.
But yeah, so they would talk about doubles, like tennis doubles, double drink, and they say, no, doubles, how long it takes your money to double, because that will determine how wealthy you will become in your life. Mm-hmm. I've never heard that outside of a cocktail party, except maybe from some financial people like Tom Matthews and a couple other people like that, but hardly ever. Doubles, the concept of doubles.
Well, and that's why the interest rate is so important. So people will say all the time, is the interest rate really that important? If you're getting 2% and it's 2.5% really that much different, or 3% that much different?
It is.
When you learn the rule of 72 and you start playing around with this, 0.25%. 0.1% is a big deal. So yes, interest rates are a big deal.
Well, over time.
Like
we talked about the time value of money, and over a period of years, that money, it's interest on interest on interest, and that just goes crazy.
Right.
And so, yes, the rate of return matters. And I think a lot of times, again, something else no one teaches you pretty much, and I didn't think, 2 and 3%, 2 and 4%, what's the difference? That's 2%.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, over 20 years, it's an unbelievable amount of money.
Right. And I think it goes the other way too. When people are talking about getting a mortgage, or they're looking at their interest rate on their credit card, and they're like, well, I got a credit card at 17% and one's at 18%. And I'm like, that's a huge difference when that compounds and you have to pay that, annually, even monthly.
If you're carrying a balance.
Every rate, every single number matters.
Yeah, absolutely. So the example we use in the class is, you go to the bank, and I think we've talked about this probably with compound interest, right? And they're paying you basically less than 1%, at least at this point, or some low number, no matter what. Whatever they're paying, it's usually the lowest they can possibly pay.
Yeah.
And then they'll jack up the credit card 20 points or 15 points, so you're paying 17 or 18% or 20% interest, and you're making 1 or less than 1, and they get the spread, and that's what makes them rich. But so their money takes 3 or 4 years to double, 5 years to double, and ours takes 800 years or some insane amount of years. So that's why they are rich, and $10 trillion right now sitting in these passbook savings accounts in banks, because people don't know. The only reason you would do it is because you don't know. Right. Now, I'm not talking about having $1,000 in a bank so you can go to the ATM and pull money out, or it's a convenience thing. That's everybody has that, I suppose. You
have to have a checking account.
I'm just saying, don't put your investment money in a bank. That's insane. Rich people don't do that. But so you don't, because they don't give you any money for it. That's the reason. But yeah, it's amazing. Something so simple, and they don't teach it in schools. That's why I'm so proud that we're teaching this stuff, and we're helping people with their money.
I think this is a concept you just have to play around with.
You do.
I think just get a calculator out and play around with it, and just really start looking at your interest rates and see the differences between a 6% and 7%, or 6.5%, 6 3/4. Because again, I think people think, oh, it's just 1%. Well, when you know the rule of 72 and you actually divide it, and it compounds, it's much more than just a number. So I think that's a good idea for people to take a look at. Play around with it. Don't just take our word for it. Play around with it.
Well, and it works for you if you're gaining interest. If you're in debt, like with a credit card or a house loan or a car loan, or any kind of loan. Well, then it's working against you. Compound interest works against you. The Rule 72 works against you.
Right.
So, of course, 99% of the people it's working against. And the people say, well, why do the rich keep getting richer? Why is the spread, so big between the rich and the middle class? Well, it's going to get bigger. Unfortunately, that's not good for anyone, including the rich, by the way.
Exactly.
That's a whole nother show.
Right.
The social divide, the income divide, the wealth divide is not a good thing. That will break down a society eventually. And that probably will happen in America, because it's getting worse.
It's on its way.
It's on its way because of these little things, and they add up. That's why you got, like we talked about, people like Elon Musk that's building, in highways. He's funding some of this stuff himself, underground highways, like in LA.
I know.
Train systems. I mean, the guy's a genius, but they have so much money. It's obscene wealth.
Right.
And it seems like all you hear about in the media, and even shows I've done, and financial shows I've done, like on CNBC and Fox Business and all those kind of shows, where they say, well, is it really the right thing? Shouldn't they be, or CNBC would be better for this one, where shouldn't they be or CNN, where shouldn't they be taxing these guys more? Shouldn't they be paying more of their fair share? Well, maybe, but the bottom line is, how did they get that much money when the average person is making an average wage that they make an interest in an hour? It's just, some of these things, because they know how money works and no one else does. I mean, you could make a pretty good case that that's a big part of it over time.
Oh, yeah, over time. I mean, they're brilliant people, too, and they've solved a lot of problems. So they certainly deserve to have made the money.
Right.
But they understand the Rule of 72. And if you don't understand the Rule of 72, I really challenge everyone listening to get out a calculator by yourself. Don't do it at a...
compound interest calculator?
No.
Very powerful tool. I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun.
It's not
Especially
that.
at parties.
No. So
Really, I'm not kidding.
no, don't do it at parties. Don't bring your calculator
It's
to a
fun.
party. Don't do that.
You know what I mean? Have fun. I mean, it's fun.
No.
People might enjoy it.
No,
Why are you trying to talk them out of it?
because it's embarrassing when your husband brings a compound calculator to a party. Ask me.
Why is it embarrassing?
Stephen, it's not funny. I'm not kidding.
Your parties are so boring.
It's not. It's not. No. So
It's boring.
that's why you're not
Your tennis
invited.
friends
That's
talk
why
about
you're
your
not
tennis
invited
stuff, and
anymore.
it's all fun.
That's
They're
why you're
nice
not
people. I
invited
like 'em.
anymore. That's not why you're
You're
invited
doing me a
anymore.
favor by not inviting me.
No, you guys.
really
so,
don't want to be invited.
so like
I
I
never
don't
did.
know. I don't know. Like 5 or 6 years ago,
I'm
we're
social.
at the country club, right, to a New Year's Eve party.
Oh, boy.
New Year's Eve party. And so it's a formal. All the girls, ladies are dressed up. Steve's got his tuxedo on, and it is so much fun. We're all dancing, having a great time. And it's a small group, like maybe 300 people, because it's a private club. And so 10 minutes till midnight, you know, everyone's looking for their husband.
There's a bunch of old people dancing.
It's-
Can I just interject?
Okay.
If you don't mind. We're in South Palm Beach, Florida. Okay. Everyone at this club is 80 years old. Nothing against
Okay,
80-year-olds.
it's probably more than 10 years ago now. Then I think about it, because
Yeah,
we were
everyone
young.
was like
we were young
40
back then,
years older
because
than
we would
us.
be their age now. So
I know.
it was probably 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah,
it was a
they were
while.
still older
okay,
than
that's
us.
not the point.
But the point
It's
is it was
10
boring.
It's not the point. 10 minutes till
on.
midnight when you're supposed to find the person that you're there with, and
Who are
you know.
with? Oh, me.
So Denise, Val, all my girlfriends are looking for Steve because I can't find Steve. I haven't seen him all night. I mean, after he eats,
I was there.
he
most
leaves,
of the time.
and which is okay because
I
the
danced.
girls.
I was out there doing
you
the thing.
did not.
I saw him-
Anyway, at 10
clear
minutes
the
till
dance
I can't
floor.
find Steve. Everyone's looking for him. Jerry, Judy's husband, comes and I found Steve. I'm like, okay, where was he? He's sitting in the men's locker room.
It's a nice locker room at that club. That was
It was a nice locker room. Sitting in the men's locker room playing with a compound interest calculator.
I love those things.
First of all, who carries a compound interest calculator around with them to
Fits
begin
right in your
with?
pocket, right in your jacket
Steve,
pocket.
Steve.
That's why I did it. I knew I'd
My
have a toy.
girlfriends,
I'd have a toy at those
afterwards,
things to play
you
with.
know, I played tennis with
There were
them
no
the next
phones
week.
back then. No,
Yeah,
self,
no, you could be playing with your
Mobile
cell phone,
you
right?
could- there's
No
no cell
mobile
phone.
devices.
Yeah.
No, but
That
the
was
next
all
time I
done.
played with my girlfriends, they're like, let me get this straight. Your husband would rather sit in the men's locker room and play with a compound interest calculator than come to the party with us?
Yes. And you should have been proud. You should have said yes.
Obviously,
Yes.
that was the answer.
What'd you say? No, what'd you say, really?
I said he was working on a project and we had to work. I made up something. I was
We're
too
doing a project
embarrassed.
at midnight on
I
New
was
Year's
too
Eve.
embarrassed.
He's very
to
busy on the
say.
project.
So, and
He's
so now
solving world hunger.
So now I think I should just get a boyfriend and take him with me. How about that?
Oh, nice. Yeah, you need a boyfriend. You should get a boyfriend. Jeez.
Okay,
Take some of
that could
this
be
off
another
me.
that could be another show.
Put some of this on a boyfriend.
okay.
Take some of those.
To sum it up, I really do think if you are truly interested in learning how money works and understanding what the wealthy do with their money, you've got to understand the rule of 72. Definitely get a calculator and play with it because
Yeah.
it will blow your mind.
Or you can go online or on your phone
Yeah, sure,
now and pull
sure.
them up. They used to, well, they still have them, but the physical ones. But you can go online or go on your phone and just play with it
Right.
and just plug in numbers and you won't believe it. Again, like we talked about a little bit in other shows, before you buy something, look at the actual, figure out the actual cost, what it would cost if you took that $2,000 or $5,000 or whatever the number is, well, it almost doesn't even matter. Put the interest rate in there, just to say 10%. The market average is 10%. Typically, over a period of years. So that's good. Put that in over 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and you won't believe it.
I know, it's crazy.
You almost have to do it to believe it.
Yeah.
Because you have to look at it. And usually when I look at it, even after all these years, you look at it and go, there's no way that can be right.
It's no
There's
way.
just no way it could be that much money.
I know.
And then you go, is it really worth paying whatever you're paying, for with I think I talked about the Kia in another podcast, right? Mm-hmm.
I know I'm getting confused on what you're talking about on stage and when you're talking about here.
Yeah, well, just that when we bought the Kia, and so we bought two of them. But first of all, we bought the first one, and it was $50,000 loaded, the whole thing. And then instead of what I initially wanted was the BMW, which was $115,000 for a freaking truck. Give me a break. What is the deal? Because it says BMW on it. It was ranked number 3 by Car and Driver, and the Kia was number 1, and people make fun of Kias. And Stanford had come out that month and said, here's our research. Rich people drive BMWs and poor people drive Kias. So I thought, I want to be one of those people that's being smart about, because I hear poor with financial decisions, and I think smart. That's the first thing I think. I really do, because I think they're
They have to.
conservative.
They have to.
Well, it's more conservative.
Yeah,
It's
they
smarter.
have to do more research.
Well, so
But
did
then
I.
what
So-
happened when?
Well, so we bought the Kia for the 50,000 instead of 115,000. So that leaves $65,000. So instead, you put $65,000 in a compound interest calculator with 10% over a period of, first of all, 10 years, and then 20 years. Because I feel like I can keep that car for 20 years because the Kia, because I drive 5,000 miles a year, which is exactly what I have. I've had it for 2 years, 10,000 miles.
Yeah.
So I'll probably have it 100,000 miles probably, and for 20 years to have around the property here. And so in 20 years, that 65,000 at 10% grows to $467,000. So can I afford over 20 years a $467,000 truck? Well, even if I can, I'd have to be a moron. Unless I'm Jeff Bezos, which I'm not. So I mean, okay, yeah, if you got that kind of money, then I guess it doesn't matter. But at our level, it does matter. $467,000.
It's crazy.
That's insane.
Well, again, you just have to play with it. And I'm
do.
surprised you didn't say it, because this is a plug for Kia. How many times did you, after buying your Kia, did you say it was 2020 World Car of the Year?
It was 2020 World Car of the Year.
Oh my God! If I heard that one more time, you must have said
It's
it every
true.
day.
I'm gonna get a bumper
Steven,
sticker.
I know it's true.
I need a plaque.
I know it's true. It is.
a great-
It was
and then
2020
you ended
World
up
Car of the
buying a
Year.
Kia 'cause you
I did.
couldn't resist.
I couldn't. I wanted to say I wanted the World Car of the Year.
Well, it's a great privilege to drive the World Car of the
It is
Year.
a-
How
it
many
is a
people get
privilege.
to?
That's right.
Not that many people
That's
get
right.
to drive
Actually,
World Car
they
of the
did
Year.
sell out and then wanted to buy ours back.
sell out.
Yeah, we
they
said
did.
that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and so Dawn has a white one and I have a black one. And
Perfect for our
they're
relationship.
phenomenal car. Exactly. Opposites.
right. Perfect.
Yeah. So opposites supposedly attract.
Right.
Have you found that at all?
I'm waiting. I'm still.
Maybe it'll kick in like our 40th
yes.
anniversary. Then it kicks
Yeah.
in. All of a sudden, it's
Yeah.
like bam.
I'm going to use the rule of 72 to figure that out. But in closing, definitely play with that in a calculator.
Yeah,
it will
definitely.
blow your mind. It really will.
Look it up online if you're not familiar with Rule 72, and really, I mean, it's you just play with numbers and you just can't believe how it works, how the rate of return. Because again, it really comes down to, I guess, the end of the day. Does rate of return matter? Well, I got 1%, or I got 3% instead of I was going to get 1.5, but I was going to get 3, but I got 1.5. So that's only half. It's not a big deal.
It's a big deal.
A huge deal over time.
Take our word for it. Go get a calculator.
Yeah, if it's 3 months, it's probably not a big deal. But if it's 3 years or 13 years or 30 years, it is a big deal.
Right.
So look into this rule of 72. Again, if you need help with any of this, you can always email Dawn at howmoneyworks.com, and she can walk you through and help you. And actually, we have access to about 200 financial companies.
Yeah.
And we sort of serve as, for a better way to say it, lack of a better way to say it, a liaison. We don't own any products, financial products or anything like that, but we have relationships with about 200 different companies. Nationwide Insurance, Transamerica, Prudential, just name most of the big ones. We have relationships with them. So we have access. We can get people access to products that usually only rich people can get, basically, right? I mean,
Right.
at the end of the day,
Right.
only rich people can get access to. So that's kind of it's a long story, but it doesn't matter. But bottom line is, if you want access to some of those products, email Dawn and she can help you. And if you have an advisor, someone helping with your finances, and if you don't, you want to get somebody that you trust. But if you have somebody, talk to them about these things. Talk about rate of return. Ask them questions. Don't let them just throw you into products, because most of advisors, we know a lot of them. We know thousands of them. I've spoken to, how many financial advisors have I spoken to on stage?
A lot.
200,000, some insane number. And most of them are really good people. They really are. But, you do have your commission hounds. People sometimes, they move money around just for commission purposes. We've seen that. It's rare, but it does happen. So you're in control. You're the, what do they say? The advisors like to say, you're the quarterback of your financial life. And they're sort of like the backup quarterback, or the defensive coach, or the offensive coach, or they have all these metaphors.
Okay, first of all, I've never heard that.
Because you don't even know anything about
says
football,
that.
Don. When's the last time you watched a football game?
No one says that.
Yeah, they do, Don.
I watched Georgia win.
Oh, you did watch that game.
The
Now, who
Super
plays
Bowl?
quarterback for Georgia?
They won the.
Who plays running? Can you name any player on the University of Georgia? Any player whatsoever? Even people that sit on the bench.
They won the college.
What did they win?
SEC, right? CCE.
SEC?
SEC.
No, they won the what
Super
did they
Bowl.
win? The Super
I mean
Bowl.
the big thing. Whatever.
The big thing. They won the big thing, you guys. I don't know if you guys knew this. They won the big thing. So that's good.
I don't remember that analogy.
That was
ever
always
being
my dream to
used.
win the big thing.
Anyway,
So you're such a football person that you would know.
that's
you
just
wouldn't
not
even
an
know
analogy. Women might not understand. No, I
It's
know
an
a lot of women watch football. I'm going to take that back.
Yeah.
I'm take that back. I get 30 seconds, right, Hunter? I get 30 seconds to take it back. I take that back.
Take it back.
To take it back. I didn't want to say
No,
that.
you just don't
about
want to get in
women.
trouble with women that like football and going,
because
hey,
I'm gonna be
don't,
getting
you
emails
know.
going, oh my god, I watch football. You're a bit.
Okay, what I don't get, this is just a side note, but I would like to hear people's feedback on this. What I don't understand, I'm not trying to be sexist, I don't understand how they have these women sports reporters, and they always look like Fox News models, you know, which is fine. I'm not against Fox News models or any other models for that matter. I'm actually with my media supermodel.
Here we go. But
Okay. All right. Forget that. Okay. I digress. No, what I'm saying is when they're commenting on football. Now, I'm not trying to be sexist, but women don't play football. You guys don't grow up in the sandlots like we do playing football. I'm not saying all guys play football, but most guys have played football at some level when they're kids.
what is the problem with
Girls
the
don't play
women?
football.
So what?
Because
we can't
how are they
announce
commenting on a game
it. We
they
can't
never
announce
played?
it because there's a man in
There's
the
a
back
man?
room.
There's a man?
There's a man
There's a
in the
man.
back room talking in her ear, telling her what to say.
She's like a Barbie doll. She's just
And
repeating.
would you rather see the man in the back room or the Barbie doll?
Barbie doll.
That's probably why they do it.
All right. And I think that pretty much wraps
That
up the
pretty
rule
much
of 72.
Not sure how we got there,
And this,
but
me neither. And this, but we probably ought to script this out.
probably think.
Probably should. Maybe next time. All right, guys. Thanks for watching the show. We'll see you next time.
Bye bye.